Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of EETV. Why try to review everything in entertainment? The long-awaited time has come. It's Dragonzord time. Today, I will be speaking about the Dragonzord past, present, and future. So let's go. Now, within this Zord series, I always try to have innovative ideas. So I'm going to interject a few ideas of what I think the Dragonzord should be able to do in battle during the reboot series of Power Rangers. So let's begin. We all know that the Dragonzord had the claw swipes. I think that should also be a staple for the new Dragonzord going forward. But I do think that, now this is just a nitpick that the claws for the new Dragonzord should actually look like claws instead of like the little like nubs we got. And I know why they had that, because that's where they fired the finger missiles from. But I think they should look like claws. And I do think that should be in the new Dragonzord as well. That's the short range attack. Also, the new thing for the short range attack that I think the Dragonzord should be able to do is breathe fire. Now I know it's not that technically that Dragonzord, and we're basing it off the dinosaurs, but seeming as it's called the Dragonzord, I would think it appropriate for it to breathe fire. So I do think, along with having the claw swipes, that the Dragonzord should also be able to breathe fire during close range combat. The mid-range attack is the tail whip, and the tail whip, along with the tip of the Dragonzord tail, also the drill. I think that should also make a comeback during the reboot, but here is the twist. The twist is, you know how the Dragonzord's tail was sectioned into like sections of the tail? I think that each section of the tail should be able to sprout blades or pointed spines in between the joints, and they should be able to spin just like the drill tip for a little extra oomph when the Dragonzord does the tail whip. Also with this, I think that the Dragonzord tail, the drill, should be able to fire like a projectile to go into another mid-range attack or long-range attack, just for something added new. Now, the next point, the long-range attack. The long-range attack, we're all familiar with it, and we all loved it. The missiles that came out of the fingertips of Dragonzord. Yes, that should also have a comeback, but with an added twist. I think the missiles should have 3 types. One of the types should be poison, off of the Kimono Dragon. You know, Dragon and Dragon. I think that should be there. I think one of the types of long range attack should be a poison missiles coming out the fingertips. The second, seeming as, you know, the Dragonzord can also go underwater. The second one I think should be is some kind of I would say electric attack. You know, just like the eel. Now I know the Dragonzord is not an eel, but I'm trying to stick with a nautical theme here for the new Dragonzord. So I think the second missile type should be electrified, and then the third type should be just a normal type. You know, just explosions and all. And also, we have to get into what it should be able to do in the warrior mode. Now, just like the show in the past, wherein the Saber-Tooth Tiger Zord and the Triceratops Zord, Billy and Trini Zord, formed together, and they made the Dragonzord in warrior mode. I think that should also have a comeback. But remember, just a little while ago in this video, I mentioned that either blades or pointed spikes should come out of the joints of the tail and spin around. This is where this will also come into effect. When the Dragonzord tail formed the staff, when the Dragonzord formed into warrior mode, I think that should be its final attack, along with it being the spear thrust. the 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 spiny blades should be able to spin, and then that should be the thrust attack. And those are my ideas for that. And I think it would be really cool to see something like that, or something brand new, something that gives the show a little bit more oomph. That's what I think should happen to appease older fans like myself, but along with bringing in new fans of the franchise. And I think that'll be pretty decent. Now, one other thing I do have to mention, in Dragonzord Warrior mode, when it had the attack with the horn right here, the horn, or the top fin, that should also make a comeback. But I also think that while the Dragonzord is in warrior mode, it should also still be able to breathe fire. That fin projectile should also make a comeback as well. And also, I think the missile should still be able to fire while it's in the warrior mode, either from the fingers or from a place in the body, like a chest cavity or one of the shoulders. The Dragonzord transformation sequence seen right here. You see how that the hands fold in, and then the chest comes in like this. So I think the missiles should be able to come out of the center, like not the center area, but like the left and right portions of the chest area of the warrior mode for Dragonzord. That's why I think the missiles should come out of. And I also think that really cool visor that the warrior had in the Dragonzord had in the warrior mode, I think that should fire some sort of lasers from those eyes. I think that the final attack, when I said the spiny blades in between the joints of the Dragonzord tail should be spinning, I think the Dragonzord, when finishing off an opponent, should charge at the monster just like it did in the past and fire a barrage of missiles. And after the monster is hit with these barrage of missiles, the Dragonzord will then breathe fire while the spear is spinning. And the Dragonzord fires the missiles, the spear is spinning, and then it lights the spear on fire, and it'll be like a fire tornado, and then it thrusts the spear that is on fire and spinning into the monster to finish it off. And I think that should be the finishing move for the new Dragonzord during the warrior mode. And also, one other thing that I have to mention, I know it's not a weapon, so to say, but I also think that the Dragonzord, the flute, should also make a comeback. But I think it should be a very long, like a short sword, not a dagger. I think that the new Dragonzord weapon should be a short sword, not a dagger, and make it like about the same length or the length of whatever the longest flute is, and then make it more of a just make it a more versatile weapon than just having a dagger. Being in a short sword, I think, would be a better upgrade for the new actor or actress, whoever they're going to have play Tommy Oliver. And I also think the Dragonzord should also be piloted with inside as well. And those are my ideas for the new Dragonzord. What do you think about these? Let's start a conversation in the comment section. Once again, thank you for tuning in. May the power protect you. Like, share, and subscribe if you feel like it. I'll see you in the next one, everybody. May the power protect you.